What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 11 of my Total Warhammer 3 Ikit Claw Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, in a pretty massive battle around Zvorag, Durthu decided to try to take advantage of the fact that Ikit is currently burning down Loren, but ultimately failed when Morphic's Poison Wind Mortars and Globadiers and destroyed him and his army. Though it wasn't at some cost, us having lost about half the army in the process, it's nothing that we couldn't handle. And I don't mean unit losses, I mean just damage to units. Otherwise, we were also able to take out Vol's Anvil and destroy Torgavon for good, leaving only Talzin and Arguelon alive, and only the Waterfall Palace alive in the, or standing rather, as it is a settlement, standing in Loren. Of course, we still do have to destroy Durthu and Orion's factions, but they should be a lot weaker because of this. I'm also wondering why the One-Eye hasn't taken anything here. I feel like they should have. Gristle Valley shouldn't be able to defend against a 3/4 stack with all of this garbage. They're not even sieging it. And I have no idea what Kazrak is doing. It's a little bit weird. Oh well. Now, you know, once this army is healed, perhaps we go this way. But then again, Gelt is probably going to come down here sooner rather than later. And we will probably have to deal with that. Carrick Buftar is now probably considerably safer than it was before. It does have more clan rats and an okay garrison now, plus it has access to warp bombs, so I don't think we have to be nearly as concerned about it as we were before. And we do have a decent amount of money, though if we were to build another army, it would probably cost us between 3 and 4k if it had some decent units. And the problem there is we will not be expanding our empire for the next few turns as yet, because we are just destroying all this stuff before trying to expand into the Southern Grey Mountains there. That said, we probably do want to start building another army for various purposes. We get a decent amount of cash if we get the Skull Island here as well. Fine, you know what? Let's start building another army. We don't have a Grey Seer army yet. There's a Disciplined Plague Wielder here, which isn't too bad. Granted, it won't be an army yet full of Plague Monks, though we would like to build one. We'll also need to find Clan Pestilence. I've actually seen Clan Pestilence die a number of times in Immortal Empires, which kind of has me concerned. We definitely need to start sending out our engineers to every other Skaven faction, find them all, and then hopefully use them. Anyway, we'll summon Mr. Scheif here. We will get you. I mean, you're still probably going to use a bunch of Skaven Slave Spheres as your base, so you can start on those. They're pretty cheap to recruit like this. 8 should be sufficient. Maybe even actually not sufficient. Then we'll build a bunch of Plague Claw catapults, let's say 4, and I guess we could do 2 and 2. Warp Lightning Cannons aren't actually that much cheaper than, or that much more expensive rather than the Plague Claw catapults, and then a decent amount of other elites, and then the Skaven Slaves to hold the line. Really, this army only needs to be sufficient to destroy second-tier armies, as of course we have Ikit to destroy first-tier stuff, so yeah. And this might be okay for now. I don't want anything too expensive, plus you don't have reductions for a lot of stuff. Actually, it would be really nice if you could reduce costs for Plague Claw catapults, but I don't think that's a thing that you currently have. Skryre, Saboteur, and come from sacking settlements can only be used by assassins. Right, that's annoying. Envoy of the Council, I'm just checking here. Oh, these guys have Envoy of the Council, which is diplomatic relations with Skaven. Oh yeah, okay, we should level a couple of these. That'll be useful. And yeah, I don't see anything that reduces the cost of Plague Claw catapults. But, at the very least, you should still be a decent lord. Plus, we want to make you a little bit of a plague user, so we'll have you making use of a decent amount of Poison Wind Globadiers, and then the Skaven Slaves will eventually be replaced with Plague Monks when we have the Plague Monk building. We also deleted the Wolf Rat building, which is a little bit unfortunate, because it could have been the early game poison, but at the end of the day, it's not going to change much. Alrighty, Liv, you are heading up to the Brass Keep, so you can keep moving to Brass Keep. Should be about 3 turns to get there, and 4 turns until the end Empire Expanded has gone away. Draika's out here fighting folks, and Ergig has been destroyed, so has Krudenwald. I hope that Brass Keep is still being held. I imagine that Middenheim is, because it's growing in Nurgle corruption. But yeah, we should get there right on time. I'm almost tempted to send you all the way up here first. It's gonna be a couple turns out of the way, but if we can identify Clan Molder and then move back, I feel like it's probably gonna be worth the extra couple turns. Also, speaking of extra couple turns, we could upgrade you, although at 4,000 cost it might not be super worth it, although 10,000... or 10% rather, 10,000. Chance to expand the Under Empire is also not so bad. It's tempting. And ooh, you know what? If nothing else, both of these places will need to build deeper tunnels. And let's start with that, and then we'll see what we have left over here. Do we want to upgrade the food building? It'll be a +2 food, which isn't that much, but it will completely pay for the subterranean pit, essentially. -3. Yeah, it won't be needed in Castle Drakenhof. In fact, Castle Drakenhof can have the Thieves' Hidey holes right now. It is going to be generating money more than it is the pit thing, and then we'll replace the subterranean mining pit here with probably the raiding camp, although I'm not actually sure whether we can build the raiding camp. We also have to assume that the enemy will build additional buildings that reduce the discoverability, or increase the discoverability here, so we do have to be careful. Wouldn't want to lose one of these places. Alright, well, you keep doing what you're doing, and Altdorf for you, I could do the same thing. Do a scavenger pits for now, or scavenger raiders, and do a deeper tunnels. Once again, I don't really care about the vision. There we go. Decent amount of money, but I feel like if we're not spending money, it's kind of a waste. Okie dokie. Now, unassigned skill points I think we'll do next turn, as I don't think we need to. Torgavon and Vidriath don't need to build anything. We got negative public order everywhere, which is great. And I guess we're skipping to next turn and seeing if anybody gets attacked, though somehow I doubt it. And then we're moving again. I also do wonder if the orcs are coming. Somebody's coming for Zvorak, I know it. We also may want to try to get a defensive alliance going with the Disciples of the Maw. While I don't like the... Oh, hello, Grisguts. Now, where are you going, I wonder? Is he going for Carrick Bufdar? I hope he's alone out there. Alrighty, what do we have here? Charge log. This one remains loyal. Yes, yes. Too loyal, perhaps, maybe? Must be planning, scheming. Only possible answer. But what to do? Slay underling. No. Charge log gains trait. Overseers must control corruption character effect versus one-eyed. On turn, lords have a chance to gain one loyalty. Ah, these are kind of meh. A little bit disappointed there. We could lose 2,000 treasury to gain a little bit of XP. Honestly, I don't really care about this. We're not going to slay underling. Control +5 for all provinces. We don't actually want the extra control. Now, Overlord's Musk is not bad, but is there a negative that's tied to this? I mean, I suppose he's not actually going to be staying in our own territory, so the extra leadership war effect on the Skaven slaves, or whatever other melee line he has, might come in handy. One Eye just isn't that useful. Yeah, you know what, let's do spray him. I hope that there isn't a hidden debuff here below this that we can't see. It's very possible, but we'll see. Alright, and hey, we researched the menace below, which means we can switch charge lock gains over Lord's Musk, so he's a little bit more Aura E, and by the look of it, you are going past Carrick Azor and you're heading out to Carrick Bufdar. Okay, not surprising. Now, are you able to jump to Carrick Azor? Yes, sort of. Is your army sufficient to destroy this? Probably. I hope that there isn't a full stack here. This is a battle site, right? It's not a camp. I think it's a battle site. If it's a camp, it'll be unfortunate, because then they'll probably be able to attack us here, but, we'll see. Zvorak only has the tier 2, so we'd have to take it back if that happens. Ooh, also, upgrade Argalis. Good. Alright, well, you're gonna jump here. And no interception. These guys could reach you if they wanted to, but I really doubt that they will. I also probably could have just joined these Skaven slaves together and made a new unit, rather than recruiting just the one, but oh well. Not a big deal at the end of the day. Now, right, so what do we have here? We have the 13th scheme. Diplomatic relations with Skaven will be useful once we actually discover some Skaven. What do we have here? Menace below researched. We wanted to get volatile plans next for the extra food capacity and food generation. And then to ensure quality product as fast as possible. Or product quality. Similar stuff, less druggy. And enormous caches will be useful as well. Upkeep, warp, fire thrower, rattling. Ooh, yes. Both of these, basically. Yes. I don't really care about reject poor recruits, at least not now. And warpstone reactor is needed for the next level. Okay, that's fine. I'm hoping that this guy doesn't turn from Carrick Bufdar and go for the Oak of Ages. Though it is a possibility. Now, what do we have here? Orion's moved to Paravon, and Strathought here has actually run away from the Waterfall Palace. You really abandoned the Waterfall Palace? That's hilarious. And if we wanted to, Ikit could try to go after you. But we may as well just... Oh, we'll draw the army in as a reinforcement anyway. So yeah, no reason not to. And these guys wouldn't be able to reach Val's Anvil. We'll also probably want to abandon the Crags, though that said... And here's a thought. What if these guys, what if Warheart of the One-Eye manages to actually take Grimhold or Gristle Valley, or both? We might be able to trade them the tree locations for them. I'm not sure they'd care that much, but you never know. Might be an option. Ikit, you're gonna head to the Waterfall Palace right now. We'll level you up in a second. And we'll send Charge Lock to follow you. Hello. You know what? Maybe we just auto-resolve this one. We've already fought this battle, what, 3-4 times? And this is an easier version of it, so we may not necessarily need to fight this one, and we could just skip it. So let's head you to the Waterfall Palace like so. I don't think we need to repeat the same battle for like the 5th time. Oh, wow, sack value 10k, very nice. Let's do this. 3. I don't know whether this actually changes the auto-resolve, but do it. Alright, a little bit of damage, and our poor Doom players. Alright, food got back, lovely. And we will sack it. Oh, wow. We could loot and occupy and still get 5 back, but I'll take the 10. Alright, very nice. And word save for Charge Lock, Dwarf Thing Menace for Doom players, though they aren't sticking around in Ikit's army. And then we will have... You know what, Ikit, you take it. You occupy it. I wanted to keep your movement range, but maybe not now. Occupy. Partly to heal, and partly to possibly trade. We don't want to actually keep these territories. I'm imagining that Circo's probably going to jump over, but we're also very close to Paravon, so these guys might be wanting to attack it. I wonder if we could reach this in a couple of moves. We do also want to trade Ikit some stuff. Namely, we want him to take the Doombringers and the Ikit Zap. So in that light, Charge Lock, you're going to move to Ikit. You are going to trade him, let's say, well, range for range, I guess. Skaven Slave Slingers for 2 Warp Fire Throwers. Like so. Yes. Ikit, you are going to take the... You have them... Oh, right. Okay, you guys get deleted. Oh, I probably should have joined these units together. Merged them, rather, but whatever, not a big deal. And you can have the Doombringers, only 100, lovely. And the Zap, which, once again, should be free for your army in particular, but I'll... Oh, well, not a big deal. Recruit, and there we go. Hey, artillery focus. Wait. If we have artillery focus... What we can do is that. Recruit them at tier 4, and ooh, yes, all the weapons teams. Huh, wait, it's +2 for artillery units, but well, the weapons teams are also getting bonuses from other things. Ooh, our Warplock Giselles are starting at rank 6. Damn, that's nice. Let me get a couple of those in here, regardless of the insane cost for everybody but Ikit. Although nonetheless, the main line will probably be Poison Winds. Let's say 4 to 6 Poison Winds, and then a bunch of these. Alrighty. And we may want at least a couple other units, like a little bit heavier, maybe even a couple Clan Rats with heavier. Just something that can hold the line a little bit better. Alright, you know what? Maybe we'll do 2 Warp Lightning Cannons after all. I like the Plague Claw Catapults, don't get me wrong, but if this army runs into a bunch of large units, even with the Poison Wind Globadiers, I'd really like to be able to destroy them from a distance. And then there's things like, you know, like Pegasus Knights or Eagles, for example, that Orion has. Things that we will need to be able to counter in that manner. Now you're stuck where you are. Let's see if there's any buildings to build. Argwalon, Telia. Yes to the walls. Torgavon, Vidrioth, don't need to upgrade those. Let's also check our quick deals here. Exiles, Khorne still want to be friendly. And Broken Axe really wants to be friendly. We do have a non-aggression pact with them as well. defensive alliance with the... Huh. Is there a... what units, if there are units, might we want from our Orky allies? I mean, the occasional Ragnarok spider, perhaps. Idols to act as tanks, maybe? But why would we use them over Hell Pit Abominations? I'm not sure. And I suppose the same thing goes for Ragnaroks. Not that it would necessarily be a bad thing to have this guy be our ally. It's not like we're going to have many allies, and we actually make decent amount of money from trade, so later on, if he gets a port, this would potentially benefit us. I just want to double check, okay. Our little beast friends don't hate him. It'll probably get us involved in more wars, but you know what? Let's do this. Or, wait. How much money would you give us for military access? 1,000, and then for defensive alliance... 1,200. Yeah, you know what? Let's do the military access for money for now. And then we'll do the other thing afterwards. Once he can give us a little bit more money. I'm sure he'll be friendly with us still because he's surrounded by enemies. And we'll nickel and dime him for everything he's got. Alrighty, thank you, Grom. Also, speaking of outposts, you can't be upgraded until we're in a military alliance, and you don't want to do that as yet. And that's okay. Actually, while we're in diplomacy, do we have any missions from you? Oh yeah, just to kill Orion. Right, okay. I remember that vaguely from last episode, and I do believe that that's it, other than Liv here, who is just gonna see if he can't find us some Molder. War declared between Reichland and Disciples of the Maw, and there's these guys. Wonder how much money the Brass Keep is generating. Yeah, it'll be an extra 2 turns. Oh, to discover Molder. Do Skaven know that other Skaven are present in ruins, or is it like for everybody else? I do wonder. I suppose we'll see. Okie dokie, well with that I believe we're ready to end this turn. Building upgrade available, commandment available. Okay, yeah, you can get exploitative planning for now. Actually should have just kept Kingsglaive just to be using exploitative planning. It's free food until we abandon them or trade them away. But not a big deal at the end of the day. Alrighty, and then everybody who needs to recruit stuff is recruiting, right? You could use... I was just thinking, do we want you to get some more Skaven Slave Spears for this, or are we okay? I think we're okay for now. End the turn. What is this? Population surplus? Oh. I just hovered over something. Now, I am curious to see what the Bloody Hands will do here. Will they attack Carrick Bufdar again? Will we have another battle where we try to keep away from the enemy? Should have probably set up a lord there, and yes, indeed, they will attack Carrick Bufdar. Okay, well, that's great for them. We do have Warp Bomb available to us now, and you know what? Let's increase the number of food uses. We're gonna get, what, at minimum 15 food for this, so we're free to just use all the food we want. Go.
Agrees.
Ah, you still do give a little mini speech as well. Well, here we go again. First of all, I guess this is the first time we'll be using Storm Vermin in this particular campaign, though there will be plenty more of these guys later on as we start retrofitting our armies and as we get our Clan Moors themed army as well. But it is time for another battle at Carrick Bufdar. Last time we held just barely. And it took some finesse, I should say. Held just barely against Balthazar Gelt, though now we are holding against the Orcs in fairly decent numbers, but they don't have somebody like Gelt that would concern us nearly as much. On top of that, their lords are a Night Goblin War Boss, or their lords and heroes, as well as a Goblin Big Boss, so they don't have a bunch of scary spells that they can drop on us. That said, the Snotlik Pump Wagons, if used right, could be fairly scary to us, but we should be able to hold the bridges in the same manner as we did against Gelt, and with the tower built up here, and the fact that we have a bunch of better units, like the single unit of Storm Vermin we have, the Night Runners with slings rather than the Skaven Slaves, single unit of Gutter Runners, and a bunch more Clan Rat Spears than before. On the not so bright side, though, I was thinking that, well, we've got it, and didn't place a few units, namely this unit of clan rats I completely forgot about, so they're going to be wasted. And I don't remember what I was doing with these two, but then I decided to start moving them to protect this for some reason, and it probably wasn't necessary. Might have been because the enemy army was spawned here or moved here, which meant that they could go either this way or this way, which would be bad because here is in the background where we only have one unit defending, but this is also why we're keeping our Lord Stormvermin back. Anyway, I'm going to speed this up a little bit as the enemy army moves towards us and kill that one poor isolated clan rat unit. I was tempted to use the warp bomb here, but at only 3 units, with the 4th one not quite close enough, I figured we might have a better opportunity when we try to hold the bridges. And firing through one of the bridges now, and here we go. The units are all, well, they're not all engaged, but the battle is joined. And we're going to start with a little bit of gobbo on Skaven Slave action here, though we do have support from our Night Runners. And no tower yet, but that 2,000 point Doom Rocket tower is being built, so there will be some nice splash damage to apply. Sorry about the bouncing around with the camera. I kept trying to get a good angle on the fight here, but I wasn't happy with either one. And now we're trying to use our Gutter Runners and Night Runners to focus down the enemy Goblin Big Boss here, or at least do some damage to him. He may be a lord, but his armor is only at 35, which is reasonably weak, and we should still be able to do damage to him with our slings fairly well. And the other bridge is also getting attacked by a decent amount of units here. Gonna use that smoke bomb on presumably the nasty Skulkers, yes? Don't remember if somebody else in the Orc roster has that ability, but I know that the Nasty Skulkers do. And that is 1, 2, 3 units, and damn it. Once again, sorry about the camera jumping. It's the stupid bridges. They screw with the camera. And there we go. Warp Bomb is in, and 3 or 4 units are destroyed. Oh, lovely. Bet it doesn't do damage to units under the bridge. That would have been nice. Yeah. That looks good enough. Nasty Skulkers are also a fairly scary unit, as they do quite a lot of damage. I actually love the unit myself as well, so it was better to blow both of them up rather than deal with them killing all of our poor clan rats. Fortunately, this also means that, especially with the tower, this particular bridge should be easily held. In fact, all of these units will be shortly dead. Now, the other bridge still has a bit of work to do. The enemy lord is... where? Huh, did we kill the enemy lord or did he run away? I'm not sure. Wait, that was just the hero, and he's right there. The hero's right there. The enemy lord is moving around this way to give us some snotling pump wagons, but we brought more units. The clan rats that was trying to hold the back here to try to see off those pump wagons and help out against the other units. We're also going to move our ranged units that are no longer needed to hold these 2 bridges to help out and attack units while we hold this minor supply. Over on this side, we have our clan rats with spears trying to hold against 2 goblin wolf rider units, and it does seem that they are doing fairly well, though we did have to summon a unit of clan rats on top of the Goblin Wolf Riders to do a little bit of extra damage, and we may even reinforce the line there with our Storm Vermin because, well, we're going to be needing to hold a fair bit. 2 units of Wolf Riders, Snotling Pump Wagons, another unit of Nasty Skulkers, as well as a unit of Orc Boys. Fairly decent amount of stuff. Alrighty, and then back here, still holding. The tower is unfortunately missing shots, primarily because of this thing. Can't really fire on the enemy Orc Boys, but it's okay. If the enemy do break through this one unit of Clan Rats, but we can always move another unit a little bit into a better position. We could probably do the same thing to these guys, but then our Gutter Runners and Night Runners would have to fight, and we don't really want that right now. Nice shot from the tower there, actually. And there we go, just gonna summon another unit of Clan Rats, even as our units that is holding is going to break. We can see Scurry Away activate there. And away they go. But we got more reinforcements coming in since that bridge no longer needs to be held, the middle bridge I mean, and because of the Warp Bomb. And let's see, these guys are in pretty bad shape. The War Boss is still okay, or Big Boss is still okay, but the Gobbos should rout soon, and the other units are at half HP. Over on this side, we're getting some support with the Skavens, or not Skaven Slave Slingers, but Night Runner Slingers, firing overhead and into the enemy boys, while we continue holding ground with our Clan Rats. It would have been nice if our tower could fire down here, but it doesn't look... I don't think it has the angle, although maybe we'll see. Actually, don't recall whether I tried, though I probably should have. On the other hand, if we are done with the bridge, or as soon as we're done with the bridge, we can head here and to the other side of the map, where we're still holding massive amounts of units. Alrighty, good job to the Night Runners. More enemy units moving in, though the Snotling pump wagons have been nearly destroyed, and the Clan Rats are still holding admirably, even against the enemy boss. There go the Night Runners, and then we'll bring the other Night Runners and Gutter Runners in as well, as soon as they're no longer needed. The Gutter Runners should be able to bring down the enemy boss as soon as he's clear of some units, although as we saw, our tower did a decent amount of damage when it actually landed a shot on him. Over in the background here, our Storm Vermin are now holding the line. We might as well watch them fight a little bit, since we don't see a lot of this. I wonder what the equivalence is in the Orc roster of the Storm Vermin in terms of strength. Like, a fully buffed Storm Vermin unit versus a fully buffed Biggins unit. Who would win? And sword on sword, not halberd. I mean, not regular Orc boys, but Biggins. Well, Black Orcs would be able to rip a Storm Vermin unit apart, but Biggins? Or maybe Savage Orc boys? Nah, not the regular ones. Again, probably Biggins. We'll probably see this quite a bit later on. In fact, we can call this a bit of a preview of what will happen later in the game as we have the 2 endgame scenarios activate. Though we will be fighting dwarfs and orcs alike, there will be a lot more Storm Vermin action by that point in the campaign. And hopefully we will have confederated at least a few of the other rat factions. Would be really nice if we could. Alrighty, well, good job on holding that line there, Storm Vermin. You're a little bit damaged now, you're certainly taking it, but you're still holding. Over on this side, our 2 units of Slingers are now adding quite a lot of support, though our own Clan Rats have pretty much been destroyed. And the enemy is about ready to capture. And damn, look at those Biggins. They're basically fighting to the last. What is this? 240 HP remaining, 5 units left, 224, less than 200 HP. Oh, cheating AI. This unit should have absolutely broken. Look at that nonsense. And ooh, it looks like the tower can indeed fire on this angle. Nice. Probably should have had it switched to here. But not a big deal at the end of the day. And I think that Biggin unit was now finally killed to a man. Or to an orc. Interesting. Well, that's all good. These Clan Rat Spears may be badly damaged, but they are Skaven and they will rout and come back. We're also able to still summon Clan Rats since we had so many uses of the menace below. And they can continue distracting these orc boys while we continue to do damage with the slings. I love watching the slings fire down like this. It's nice. Alrighty, and we got a 3rd unit of slings moving in, though these guys are now very, very low on HP. We're also building some basic towers all over the place to help with the chasing units around so that the shattered units remain shattered. Over on this side, it's still a little bit closer. I did build the 1400 point piercing tower here in the hope that it would help either here or here, but didn't really need to be the case. Looks like these slings have pretty much taken care of the orc boys here now, and it's just the Night Goblin War Boss left. And the battle is pretty much ours. Yes, there's still a few units remaining, a Error Boy unit running in, but I think once these units fall, or possibly even before they do, the battle will be ours. There we go, some more Clan Rats being summoned, hitting the enemy in the back. Another morale shock is very much needed here. And these guys are now getting hit from 3 directions. Less than half HP on the Orc Boys, half on the Nasty Skulkers, and I see that leadership bar dropping. Retreat horns are sure to sound. And look at them all fighting on the pile of corpses and blood. Very nice, and so ends the enemy army. Getting a few more hits in the back, and we'll obviously run them down as best we can, so that they don't come back, but I think that went rather well. Good job, everybody. Oh, Carrick Buffdar, why does the AI hate you so? Bet you wish you had those walls. And a couple of units of Orc Error Boys running, probably gonna get hit by those towers. Or at least I hope so. Alright, here comes another Doom Rocket. I'll speed this up in a second. Oh, come on. I was excited about that shot. Oh well, let them run. The unit is no longer viable as well, because it won't survive with 2 units. And another tower just came up to help with this. Man, these guys are dodging all the shots. There we go. And then there was one, and then he got sniped. Poor little guy. Alrighty. Few more seconds. These nasty skulkers are definitely getting away, but I am hoping to bring down the enemy lord. He's a level 5, which ain't much, but it's enough to be worthy of actually bringing him down so he doesn't come back. Everybody surround him, and obviously the Night Runners aren't Skaven Slave Slingers, so they actually have decent melee capabilities, in that they are a decent melee combatant. Beautiful. Enemy lord is dead, the nasty skulkers escape. It is a Pyrrhic victory, but it is a garrison, so it doesn't really matter, and I do imagine enough of the enemy army has been destroyed so that they will not try this again, at least with this force, so our garrison is free to recover. Alrighty, hey, we only got 12 food. Well, that's just rude. I guess we could get 14 if we enslave the captives, but we'll probably sell them off for money. Anyway, looks like Carrick Buftar survives yet again, and it's probably going to be one of those places that suffers a lot of attacks throughout the campaign, but hey, as long as it does continue to survive. I gotta love the upgrade to the Night Runners that the garrison gets rather than the Skaven Slave Slingers, as they are A, better, but B, can also fight in melee relatively decently, so they can help chase stuff down, and then they can actually fight a little bit once they run out of ammunition. Anyway, let's sell those off. This army will still remain slightly alive, but it doesn't look to be viable anymore. And it also means that our other army here that was going to go there is no longer needed. Or at least it isn't needed for this. Now, I do wonder if we would be able to assault the enemy fortress with this army. We'll have to see. And there we go, the volatile plans has been researched. Lovely. Scat and scavenge, raid the following region, Paravent. Unlikely. Oh, Orion. Are you actually wandering close to Ikit? Orion, you're silly. You're being silly right now. And that's kind of a neat army, to be fair. But nonetheless, you're not going to be happy about this. Now, I suppose the question here is whether we bother to take Paravent for ourselves. Now, if we do ally with the Broken Axe, it may be beneficial, and it will be a walled settlement, so that if we take it at a higher tier, we could use it essentially as a bulwark against anybody moving south. But I suppose we could do the same thing by simply jumping over, taking Helmgart at a high level, assuming that you can take forts at high level, and then using this, and then just hoping that all the Empire and Bretonnian armies break upon it. Though at the very least, Paravent will be able to give us money for our trouble. And we don't necessarily have to declare war on Reichland right now, though we probably should eventually. Also, let's get our research going. Scavenging runs, yeah, plus 10 armor for clan rats, it's not too bad. But let's get our enormous caches and ensure product quality. Oh, these guys take quite a lot to upgrade. You know what? No, let's get harsh production quotas for the growth first. And maybe even the leadership. And this takes quite a while, and we'll need some tech thievery done to research stuff a little bit faster. Now, we're going to fight Orion in a second, but let's see what else we can do before that, shall we? First of all, upgrades. Ooh, yes, definitely. Zvorak, second level of walls. It's going to take quite a bit of cash. Stonemason's workshop, yes, and I guess another growth building. We do need to level up Myrmidons after all. Sure. Rattling Warren it is. Verdano, same with you. Walls, Exotic Animal Market, and Rattling Warrens. I'm just building those Rattling Warrens everywhere. And I believe that's it for you. Next 3 turns until you can upgrade this, but we'll be upgrading the Rattling Warrens for a while so you can stay expansionistic. Otherwise, you know what, let's check it this way. Arguelon, Blighted Marshes, what do we have here? Ah, yes, Overseer's Lookout. Still not positive growth, eh? Really hard to get that growth positive. Or not growth, public order. When you actually want it. This is the one time that we do. You, though, you will need to continue upgrading, so let's get you a couple of Poison Wind Globadiers. Oh, we could get you some Mortars as well. I think you're okay with the Plague Claws for now. I'm almost tempted to get 4 Plague Claws and 2 and 2 warp lightnings. Just lots and lots of artillery. Maybe that's the way to do it. Like this. And that'll be the army. I guess we could get like a death globe in here as a central unit, although I did want more poison winds. I'm trying to be as cheap as possible with the effectiveness of the army maintained, you know what I mean? Maybe 1 warp grinder to hold enemies back? Well, either way, we don't have to decide right now, because it'll take you a while to actually build that army up. As long as you're viable enough to take second-tier armies. We're obviously going to be swapping around some units. Oh, wait, I didn't mean to build 2 of those. I meant to build 2 more Plague Claws, or 2 more Poison Winds, rather. And the Poison Winds and the Plague Claws all together here with the Plague Monks is why we're doing this. And hence the decent amount of Plague Claw catapults, because they belong in a Plague Monk army, led, well, by a Plague Monk. Alrighty, well, let's see what else we got here. Any more buildings to build? No, we still got a decent amount of money and hoping for more. We'll be ignoring Mr. Garsnag here. But Morphic, I do want you to slowly wander this way. I'd like to see what's going on here. And I'd possibly like to jump up to Grimhold and take it. Maybe even with Kazrak acting as our ally while we take it. But also Fort Saul, if possible. You don't wander too far, however, so let's do something like this. You have no hero to scout for you, which is the problem, because there could be like 2 stacks at Fort Saul, which has me concerned. Stay here, channel a little bit, and then we'll see. Slowly move to Fort Saul. As for you, I guess we're going to attack Orion now, so let's level up a little bit. Ikit's got himself 4 skill points to use, so definitely stand or die. And I guess we start moving towards power overwhelming now, or unlimited power. Yeah, I mean, potentially I did want to get renowned and feared, but this just seems way, way better. Especially since it increases our reserves, and you can hardly get that. I wasn't necessarily looking to upgrade Ikit's spells as much, mostly because it feels like we could just use our Warlock Engineers to do that. But they don't have unlimited power. Plus evasion, I guess. That'll be making him a little bit more tanky. As for what we get here, assuming that we don't get the entire tree, now... You guys can use Death Frenzy, yes? Yes, and Howling Warpgale and Scorch, but Ikit doesn't need everything, so I guess we get both of you Death Frenzy, eventually, but it's the least likely spell that we're going to use here. Mostly because, well, it's not a melee line of units. We will want to get Howling Warpgale, and I guess we'll want to get Scorch. Howling Warpgale because, well... I mean, wait, whoa. Howling Warpgale. Yes. Let me just see about this. Now, do you guys have the same spell? No. But you guys may not need it right now, although overlapping Howling Warpgales may be beneficial right now. You could get extra powder right now, but would it be as worth it to us as an extra cast of Howling Warpgale potentially would be? Not entirely sure. I'm tempted to go Howling Warpgale just because of this annoyance. And for Ikit as well. I guess the only question is whether we need a second point. It's still a rarer use than Scorch, most likely, as in we'll never be using it nearly as much. And I don't want to waste the point. Scorch is occasionally usable, but then again, for Ikit in particular, Scorch may not be as useful because, of course, he doesn't have a melee line typically to take advantage of it. Still, let's go for the 1 point in Howling Warpgale for now. And then we'll see afterwards. Let's go 2 points in Scorch. And the other 2 will get at least... Well, you can have at least 1 point in Howling Warpgale. And... I guess we'll skip the extra powder for now. You know what? Screw it. Go Warp Lightning and Howling Warpgale for you. We'll get the other stuff after. You, however, do still keep moving through Triangulation. We want you to get Ballistics Calibration ASAP. Arms Dealer, please. Ballistics Calibration. Doom Rocket, Ballistics Instructor. All of that will help here. As for Charge Lock, what do you have? You could get Flensing Ruin if you really wanted. You can get another point in... Nah, you know what? We'll see. We'll see how many points we have left over after we're done stuff, and you're still holding on to all this. Although I'm tempted to get Blastmaster just because, once again, you'll be using Warp Fire Throwers, Warp Lightning Cannons as well. Yeah, you know what? Let's get Last Master. You're using enough of these guys for this to actually benefit you now, and you'll probably be getting a few more from Ikit shortly. You are going to Blade Shield, you have all of your stuff here, and let's get you Scarred Veteran. We'll need you guys to be the tanks, or at least in some situation. Scarred Vet, Deadly Onslaught, and I'd like you to get Sneaky as well for the extra missile resistance, as you're now a large target on that Bonebreaker. Alright, while I don't think we necessarily need both armies here. Nah, but let's not risk damage. Let's move both. Is Paravon worth anything for sack value? No, not really. Alright, attack Orion. He'll most likely run, I would imagine. No, he's not gonna run. Oh, he got ambushed. Oh no. Oh, Orion. You poor thing. Alrighty, well, this should be fun. Ikit versus Orion and an ambush at that. Is this the first successful, like, Skaven ambush that we got from basic movement? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I'm excited about it. Let's see if this actually works out for us or not. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Orion ambushed, and I guess we can't be letting him run around. We have Beastmen friends, and they're the real Beastmen. He's just a wannabe Beastman. Anyway, we've prepared for this ambush quite a bit more than we usually prepare, by getting all those Howling Warp Gales, rather, and immediately use the single use on the entire pile of enemy range. We have also set up our Rattling Guns, our Jezzails, and our Warp Lightning Cannons, all to fire on those poor range units, the Hawk Riders as well as the Great Eagles, about to be taking tons of damage. Over on this side, we've set up our Poison Wind Globadiers and our Warp Fire Throwers to take care of the Glade Guard, while Ikit is also going to be annoying them. And we do have a few other extra units that we could be using. I don't know why the Avalanche Mortars are here. In fact, I accidentally, by the looks of it, faced them the wrong way. I was hoping they'd fire from this hill where they can't be reached, but kind of screwed up. And we're actually supposed to be keeping the Doom players out so they don't get destroyed. But not that we actually need either unit, because as we can see, the enemy is in horrible shape already. 13 seconds into the battle here. The enemy's lost a good 150 troops, and lots of units are at extremely low HP. And this is also not the only Howling Warp Gale we have, so after that's done, we can simply use another. There we go, Hawk Riders being knocked out of the sky, Eagles probably soon to follow, there we are. And it looks like the Glade Guard have been pretty much destroyed already. This is disgusting, this is a disgusting ambush. We didn't even need the Deathglobe Mortars. I got so excited about this ambush and using our Howling Warp Gales that I screwed up the Death Mortar placement, and that could have made the battle even quicker. Alrighty, so let's see what we've got left. 57 seconds. All of the units that our range are either routing. In fact, yeah, they're all wavering. Most of them are dead. All of them are wavering. All of the archers have been destroyed, and only Orion remains. Orion, though, is unbreakable, so we do have to manually kill him. Alrighty, well, we can turn Jezzails and Rattling Guns upon him shortly. We've just got to be careful. The Warp Fire Throwers were chasing the Glade Guard around. Don't really need to be here, and there we go. Now Poison Wind Globadiers are firing, Rattling Guns are helping out. And in fact, the Rattling Guns should be able to take care of this. Damn, Orion could take more hits than I thought he would. Especially from all of this, the decent amount of units firing at him. Granted, the Jezzails weren't, there we go, they finally get a volley, and the Jezzails were busy hitting the birds as they flew away, and I noticed that the Howling Warp Gale effect remains on them even afterwards, huh. I wonder if this is a bug, or was it always like this? It does look cool, though. Just permanently electrocuted now. Man. Yeah, they got wrecked. They got absolutely wrecked by that. Glorious. I wonder how well Ikit zapped. It probably didn't get a lot of kills, but it was, while it was firing on enemy low entity models. Yeah, 8 kills. Actually, not a lot of damage, huh? Surprising. 1052, I wonder why. I was specifically targeting it at the Hawk Riders, which is where all those kills came from, and especially since it could probably knock down a few at a time. But I guess there wasn't really much else for it to fire on. Plus it was competing at the same time with all of our other ranged units, who were also knocking them out of the sky. Anyway, let's speed this up, doing a little tiny bit of chasing, but honestly it's not really needed. Most of the entire enemy army is non-viable, though Ikit can chase a few down. This is an ambush, but the enemy army will remain if any units do survive, but if they have, I'm sure Ikit will have absolutely no problem, as we can see, ripping them apart again, and, you know, howling warp-galing their poor air units again. Oh man, oh man. You know, we've burned down Athelorn, and this is the first time I've actually felt bad for the AI. Orion built up all of those flying units, only for them to be hit by repeated howling warp gales and get absolutely nothing done. And just destroyed, knocked out of the sky. Oh, that was amazing. And it was very, very Skaven, I should say. Love it. I guess we'll sell them off. We can never have enough money, even though we could heal up a little bit. I'm sure we'll be fine for now, especially as we continue healing in our own territory. Now, we will want to destroy these guys and take Paravon, possibly, but we might do that later. And hey, we got a Helmet Escort as well as a mission completed. I do have to wonder whether these guys have another mission for us. I don't know if you can get missions immediately or not. No, apparently not. I guess it'll probably have to wait until next round, but that's fine by me. Yeah, you know, that actually happened to me once. Funny story. I don't remember whether this happened in a campaign that I posted or whether it was one that I played without posting or before I started posting stuff or whatever. But anyway, I was playing the Dark Elves. It might have been in the Malice campaign or might have been older. And basically, I built a second army in the same manner as Chargelock, like a slave army, but with the Dark Elves, I built an army that was 1 Lord and 19 units of Harpies, and then promptly ended up fighting a unit of Skaven, or an army of Skaven, or several armies of Skaven, and the second army came in to reinforce, bam, repeated howling warp gales, every single one of those Harpies got destroyed. They did not achieve anything, and the entire army got killed like that. It was absolutely hilarious. So it's nice to do that to an enemy for once. Anyway, on that lovely note, I am going to have to call the episode here. Next time we will continue the destruction of Orion's faction. Oh, he has a third not faction, but he has a third thing all the way up here. Maybe we trade it to these guys for something. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, we'll deal with that. Maybe if we have time, because I imagine the rest of this might be auto-resolvable, we'll head back out here and start taking territories from Argolan, and potentially we could try to do the same thing with Morphic if there's nobody here and around Fort Saul. We should also be completing our recruitment of Shife's army very shortly, which will mean we go down to the Skull Island, get ourselves a nice 20k, then this island, and then upwards toward possibly taking some Bloody Hands territories. They've actually gotten considerably weaker and are now down to 3 territories. Huh. Usually they get incredibly strong, and maybe we want to peace out with them. I was just thinking about taking Ekrond for ourselves in all of these territories, and maybe we will want to ally with the with Skarbrand after all. You guys let me know what you think about that. I'm not entirely sure about it. I am sure I want to ally with Disciples of the Maw, even if only temporarily, because of the access to lead belchers. However, I don't want to be competing with them for territory, which is the one thing that I don't like. Like, we want Carrick, Angazar, and Akendor for ourselves, obviously, because they have pastures. But it'll be difficult to get those if these guys have all these territories. But anyway, those are all asides, and then we shall have to see whether we manage that. You guys let me know your thoughts on the matters. Don't forget to leave a like and comment as usual. Whatever else I say, all glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching. I'm still laughing at those poor birds.